Coming up, getting to know the fastest road car ever built. Driving Passions visits the McLaren factory and hits the road in the fabulous F1. And John Evans gets to grips with a new generation of Japanese luxury cars that have Jaguar, Mercedes and BMW really worried. And we go along to Althorp Park in Northamptonshire to find out what 1,400 Rolls-Royce owners do on a sunny Sunday afternoon. This is Woking in England. This is the home of McLaren cars, where they make the fastest and the most expensive sports cars in the world. Derek Wayland, manufacturing director, has very discerning customers. If you're paying $500,000 for a car, you really expect the quality to reach out and grab you by the throat. The assembly line reflects the quality ethos and the attention to detail. So this is carbon fibre body, Derek, right? Pretty unusual?
Very unusual. It's the only fully carbon car around. You can see that it weighs a lot. This, as it sits here, about 106 kilos.
What is it all up?
All up is about 1,140 kilos, and that's exactly the same weight as an Escort.
Except this car's got 627 horsepower.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of difference.
What's the shiny stuff here?
This is 24 karat gold. We found it was the best material to reflect heat on the car, and we use it quite extensively all over the car. Let's show over here, Steve. We also put it all on the very areas where there's a lot of hot area. You can see here, this is where the silencers and the cats are. If I show you here, this is the roll, and this roll alone is £1,000, and we use about 3 rolls on a car.
Right. So this gentleman here has got a responsible job then?
Very responsible, yes, and I think we search him every night and make sure he doesn't take any bits home with him. So.
Quite right. This is typical of McLaren's approach to building a car. Gold is the world's best heat reflector. Gold is what they use. But there's a lot more under this car's skin than that. Okay, I know where we are now. This is the powerhouse, okay?
Yes, this is the engine of the car. It's a 6.1 litre, 48 valve.
V12?
V12, made for us uniquely by BMW, and there are no other parts common to any other engine, and it's limited to a run of only 300 maximum.
Oh, really? Each car fits its owner as perfectly as a Savile Row suit.
Here's the important question, Derek. Can you fit me in here?
Well, yes, I'm sure we can. We have fitted someone in that was about 19.5 stone and had a waist measurement about 47 inches, so I'm sure we could just about fit you in, Steve.
That's all fine, but what about my luggage?
Well, there's 2 large luggage lockers either side of the car, and in each locker is fitted luggage. So you can see one fitted luggage box there.
Great. What's this down here? Looks like a glove.
That's it. Here's a glove, and that's for checking the oil. You can put the glove on. We have a tool to dip the oil, and that's to stop your hands getting dirty.
Derek, can I have my glove to match the upholstery?
Of course you can.
I won't pretend it's been easy getting into this seat, but with the splendid body and all that. But now that I'm here, I'm a damn sight more comfortable in some cars I could name. Mike here has done 1,000 miles of driving cars like this. He's going to show me how it goes. One striking feature of the F1 is it'll take 3 people, and that's 50% more than a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And because it's so carefully designed, it's no longer than your average hatchback, even though the engine has as much power as a Grand Prix car. There's only one word for the performance: fantastic. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.3, 230 miles an hour flat out.
Yeah. Very smooth though, isn't it? I mean, lots of cars with this kind of power sound much more raw, and they also feed much more vibration into the cabin.
Back at McLaren, I went in search of the F1's designer, Gordon Murray. He started off designing racing cars, and when he'd won 51 Grand Prix, he thought he'd have a go at a road car.
Well, after the board had decided that we were to do the ultimate sports car and have a car company, it was left up to me, really, to decide what that car should be. I did want it to have the highest power-to-weight ratio yet seen in a sports car.
So pretty quick.
Yeah, but it also had to be the ultimate driver's car. That was another priority. And lightweight. I mean, absolutely beyond anything else lightweight. I didn't want it to be another 1,500 kilo sports car.
Why is lightness so important in this? I mean, the car is so powerful. Surely an extra £5, an extra £500 doesn't matter much.
There's a big difference between just power to weight, because you can have a very powerful car and a very heavy car, which is a good power to weight ratio, and lightweight. I mean, lightweight is absolutely everything. Weight counts against you if you're heavy in so many different areas, even fuel consumption.
Has anybody ever bought 2 McLaren F1s?
Yes. In
Can
fact,
you tell us some more?
Well, we can't talk about actual customers, but there are 2 customers that have bought both a road car and a racing car, which makes a nice pair.
Murray set out to show his owners what it's really like to drive a full-house racing car on the road.
This is the engine, isn't that fantastic?
That roar of power.
Yeah, it's rather good.
I think it's,
Don't run away with the idea that this is a simple car to drive on the road. It's not. It is hugely capable, but you'll never find out how good it is unless you're a bit of a driver yourself.
Wow, what a car. It's not just massively fast, it's amazingly effortless as well, and surprisingly comfortable. If you can't buy one yourself, why not try and convince one of these fellas that you need a quick ride around the block? Really, the only depressing thing about the McLaren F1 is that even an ordinary old bog standard millionaire can't afford one. I'm afraid you need $1 billion. Never mind, they're the brakes.
This is Japan's secret weapon, the Lexus LS400. It's taken the fight to Jaguar, BMW and Mercedes and scared their pants off. With this one model, Lexus has won a place at the boardroom table, a position its more established rivals have taken 20 years to achieve. In the absence of any pedigree, the Lexus went for the boardroom jugular with a combination of refinement, high specification and questionable mid-Atlantic styling. But the hardest battle the Lexus has fought has been in the company car park, where having the right badge on the bonnet is all important. Though Lexus sales have never fulfilled the car's early promise, a solid core of customers wouldn't consider anything else. So, a fine car for the chairman, but what if you're the marketing director? What if you fancy something a little racier, a tad more exclusive? Say hello to the Lexus Coupe. You won't find one of these at your local Lexus dealer. The Coupe has to be specially ordered from Japan. It takes the saloon's reliance on high-tech gadgetry into the next millennium. Wing mirrors that fold flush are great for squeezing into your company parking space. And those with a corporate waistline needn't worry. Climbing into the back is made that much easier by seats that slide and fold electrically. Impressive, eh? Well, prepare to be amazed, because just where you expect to find the stereo, there's another miracle of Japanese technology, an in-car satellite navigation system. As you are driving to the next business lunch, you can track your progress on the TV screen courtesy of some distant satellite in the sky. Simply key in where you want to go, and the computer selects the route and via the screen keeps you in touch with your progress. Since my journey didn't take me via Tokyo, until the system software is available for Europe, it is nothing more than a talking point. The cabin's emphasis on high-tech gadgetry extends to the coupe's chassis, which features active ride suspension, an electronic system that varies the suspension stiffness in accordance with cornering, braking and acceleration. Cynics would argue that the best suspension systems don't require such a gimmick, and in truth, the coupe rides and handles respectably, nothing more. However, the 260 horsepower V8 engine compensates with performance to please the keenest, press-on businessman. But wait a minute. For the same money, you could have a Lexus saloon, 2 more doors, a roomier cabin, and a much larger boot. But then you'd look like everybody else, And that's where the Lexus Coupe comes in. It's different, and it's for people who want to be different.
This driver is slumped over his wheel, fast asleep, but he's not in a lay-by. He's come to a halt in slow-moving traffic on the M5 motorway, with a long queue building up behind. A passing police patrol eventually woke him up, and he got off with a warning. But it doesn't always end like this. 1 in 6 accidents involve sleepy drivers, and on motorways it's 1 in 4. Researchers at Loughborough University found, using a simulator, that the early morning and mid-afternoon were the worst times for such accidents. The main culprits, men under the age of 30.
He's been driving now for about an hour or so. He's going to be bleary-eyed. We're monitoring his eye activity and his brain, and we can see how sleepy he is, and indeed he is beginning to fall asleep now.
Road safety campaigners say it's on dull, monotonous roads like motorways where drivers should take particular care.
It is essential that motorists pull off the road at frequent intervals, particularly on motorways. I know there are some motorways without motorway service areas, and they're a problem. But that means pulling off onto a side turning, just resting, sitting down, getting out, stretching your legs.
Coming up after the break, what happens when you get hundreds of Rolls-Royce owners together in one stately home? And an answer to the perennial question, what's in a motoring journalist's garage?
In June each year, Althorpe Park, the stately home near Northampton, England, plays host to a very exclusive band of car owners. This is the annual rally and concours of the Rolls-Royce Enthusiast Club. Owners flock from all over the world to enter their cars for awards of excellence. Lieutenant Colonel Eric Barras is the club president.
The Rolls-Royce Enthusiast Club was founded in 1957 by a group of enthusiasts drooling over the excellence of very old Rolls-Royce motor cars, which we bought chiefly because a lot of us couldn't afford to buy a modern car at the time. In a matter of 10 years, we'd gone from half a dozen to well over 2,000, and the growth of the club has been like that ever since.
From turn-of-the-century 6-cylinder cars to modern-day favourites like the Corniche, there are other familiar classics here too, like the great Silver Ghost, on which the worldwide name of the company was established, and the 12-cylinder Phantom 3, which epitomised the luxury of the era. The Corniche now makes way for the Azure, a mere $480,000.
The reason why so many people flock here is that it has become the Rolls-Royce Mecca. There's no doubt about that. We have people literally from all over the world who come here. You'll see a representation of virtually every model, but inside it you'll find a driver who loves that car almost as dearly as his wife, and who understands it, cares for it, and is a part of it. I won't say that it's no little more than an effect, because it's the individual that becomes the effect.
This is GOK48, and in the club we always refer to our cars by their chassis numbers, not the registration numbers. This car was called the India model. It's a 20 horsepower, and it was owned by Mrs. Stafford of the Hyde Park Hotel, Knightsbridge. The club is made up of a variety of members. There are some who've got cars and some who would love to have cars, but they're all enthusiasts.
It's rare to see so many Rolls-Royce and Bentley cars together in one place, and it's an opportunity for various rare models which are just not seen out on the road to come out. Some are only used as Sunday cars and when the sun is shining, others are used on a day-to-day basis, and the condition reflects that. But it's a time for all enthusiasts to get together and also see the latest models the company's offering.
Malcolm Tucker, editor of Rolls-Royce's Pinnacle magazine, has been a judge at the rally for the past 15 years. His quest today is for that exquisite 100-point car.
This is a 1932 Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 with a body built by Barker. And if we just look overall at the paintwork of the car, we can see there's a slight orange peel bloom on the paintwork, which is not suitable for winning a concours d'elegance. But if we move along a little bit, we'll see that the chrome work on the car is very good. We couldn't knock him off the points there. These small points are what make the difference. We move towards the back of the car, and again, on this retaining strap for the door to stop it blowing open in the wind, we would lose some points for that kind of thing there. Now, moving forward to the engine compartment, we'll have a look and see what the works of the car are like. But before opening the bonnet, you have to remember to turn the Spirit of Ecstasy sideways. Otherwise, her outstretched arms, which are not wings, but arms holding the clothes that flow from her body, will snick the side of the bonnet and we'll all be in trouble. So there's the motor. Large engine, 6 cylinders, just over 7 litres. All the electrical equipment is fine, and again, the black enamel on the top of the engine all looks okay. But this car won't win because the nuts have got paint missing, there's little snicks where various spanners over the years have hit the paintwork, and she wouldn't really win. But generally, it's a fine motor car and kept well. But this one's a little different. A post-war car this time, 1954 Silver Wraith Rolls-Royce. But just look at the condition of the engine compartment of this car. It is pristine, and it's original. There's nothing here that shouldn't be here, and everything's finished as it left the factory. And if that's not enough, just look at the paintwork on this wing. Not a bit of orange peel. It's absolutely perfect. And what about the interior of this car? The judges are going to have a hard job to find a problem with this motor. It's virtually pristine. Take the leather, for instance. There's no creases. The lines here of the beading on the front edge of the seat is absolutely perfect. No wavers at all. And the woodwork. Just high gloss, more so than the pre-war car we saw earlier, but absolutely beautifully finished. This car really has to be a contender. Rolls-Royce built the Silver Shadow model between 1966 and 1980. It was the most prolific and certainly the most successful model they built in financial terms. The top of the line was the Corniche drop head, and this is an example of that particular model. 13,000 miles on the clock from new, never restored, and absolutely pristine and original. But there is a catch. It is mighty clean, but it's awfully complicated.
You don't have to be an owner to be a member of the club. Enthusiasts of the marque are welcome too.
Rolls-Royce are fighting back. They're still a highly individual motorcar company, and they are still adhering to the great philosophy of Henry Royce, the pursuit of excellence.
The rally celebrates the company's glorious past, but will the modern Rolls-Royce really be as desirable to future generations?
In the motoring journalism racket, people are always asking you 2 questions. What's your favourite car, and what do you drive yourself? Well, my favourite car changes about once a week, but in a spirit of true openness, I'm going to show you the entire contents of my garage, bar the lawnmower, of course. This is my BMW K100 LT motorcycle, fastest of the lot, actually. Also surprisingly comfortable, efficient, cheap to run, but the best thing about it is that you can always be on time because you can carve through the traffic jams. This is the cheap end of the market. Fiat Punto 55, standard 3-door supermini car. Loads of space inside, great fun to drive, and a heck of a lot of Italian character. Pure fun, this one. Westfield kit car, based on the bits of an old Ford Cortina. Nothing is more fun for an hour on a Sunday morning, but after that you just want to stick it back in the garage. It's not even slightly practical. This is the flagship of the fleet, Jaguar 4-litre Sovereign. 250 horsepower, lot of performance, very quiet on the motorway, comfort, prestige, excellent car. But there's only one of these cars that I positively could not do without. Well, it's not the BM, clearly. A bit dangerous in the wet, and the mother-in-law doesn't like it on the pillion. It's not the Westfield either. Motorways are hell, and there's no room for a carrier bag, let alone a suitcase. So that leaves us a straight choice between 2 conventional cars, the economy Fiat hatch and the luxury Jag costing 5 times as much. The absolute first thing about the Jaguar is comfort. It's very quiet, smooth engine, loads of power from low down, considerable performance, almost in the supercar league. 250 horsepower, 140 miles an hour. But all the things that go with a luxury car, very good visibility, lots of instruments so you can see what's going on, but no intimidation. It's a very good car to spend a lot of time in. The thing that many Jaguar drivers like is the fact that it is a smaller car than a BMW, a big BMW or a big Mercedes-Benz. The Jaguar is a quite different driving experience from the other big luxury saloons, BMW 7 Series, Mercedes-Benz S-Class. It's a much more snug car. It's quite low to the road. It's fairly short. It feels compact and you can throw it around a bit. It doesn't feel like a big car to drive.
This is the car out of the four that I couldn't get by without, the Fiat Punto. Like all the latest super minis, it has the essentials of modern motoring. Plenty of space, economy, does quite a good job on the road, and there's enough comfort for long-distance journeys. Despite the fact that it's only got an 1100cc engine, it really does perform rather well, helped by the fact that it has a 6-speed gearbox, the sort of thing that you can only get in a Porsche. It really is a lot of fun.
What I really value about this Super Mini is that it fairly bristles with the latest design and engineering features. Car manufacturers put their best efforts into cheap, high-volume models because the competition is cutthroat and the task is the toughest imaginable, to provide maximum car at minimum cost.
But best of all about Super Minis is the fact that they are completely classless. Whether you're a millionaire or you're just one of the rest of us, one of these will probably be in your driveway because they suit every taste and every occasion. Come the revolution, Super Minis like this are what we'll all be driving.
A government video carries a stark warning. In a crash at just 30 miles an hour, an unrestrained backseat passenger is thrown forward with a force of 3.5 tons.
The weight of an elephant, charging straight through the driver in front.
The message is that often front seat passengers are killed not by the impact directly, but by those behind them. Even those who should know better are occasionally guilty. The Princess of Wales was jolted in this shunt, her detective's car ramming her Jaguar from behind. Even though it was a minor accident, she hadn't been strapped in.
People are quite wrong to feel the risk is less in the back. The fact is, not only could you kill and injure yourself, you could kill or injure other people in the car who are strapped in simply by hitting them on the way through.
The government slogan is, where there's a belt, wear it.
Continuing our Saturday stack next, we put the Chrysler through its paces on a course built for supercars.